This is Heather Langenkamp from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. Listen to the Dave and Creech Show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dave and Creech Show. I am here with Heather Langenkamp, who everybody remembers as Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 3, and New Nightmare. How have you been?
I've been doing great. My voice is a little hoarse from all day of talking, but I've had a great day here, and it's my first time in Atlanta at any kind of show, so it's been a great show.
Yeah, and the weather, surprisingly for Atlanta, isn't too bad right now.
I wouldn't know because I have not left the hotel.
Now, we talked to Robert about 3 months ago, and he gave us some funny stories from the making of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Is there any stories that you can remember from filming that movie?
Well, I worked really hard on that movie. I worked almost every day, and it's funny. I remember shooting the scenes themselves, but I remember very little about kind of hanging around behind, on the sets, because I was either like changing my wardrobe or getting, ready for the next scene, and I had to concentrate so hard that it's all kind of like a blur. It's like having a baby. You just don't remember any about it. And so I have to rely on Robert to tell me the funny stories from that time.
Back in the 80s, your character was actually one of the first really strong female characters that stood up to the monsters and overcame the odds. When reading the script, is that one of the reasons that appealed to you?
People say that these women in the 70s and 80s were the first, but they really weren't. I mean, I can pick, many examples of really strong women in film, starting with Dorothy in A Wizard of Oz, and, you had all sorts of interesting women-monster relationships. Some of them were more, like King Kong, maybe they're not as strong as Nancy in some ways, but I never really thought about it in those terms. I always thought that I was continuing a very long line of really strong ladies in film. But I'm flattered that people look back to this particular movie and think, oh, Nancy was even more kind of strong and resourceful than other characters. That's a very flattering thing for me, yeah.
Now, which was harder to prepare for as an actor, playing Nancy in the first Nightmare on Elm Street or playing a version of yourself for New Nightmare?
I think in the beginning, I thought that the first Nancy in the first movie was very similar to myself as a girl, how I had grown up. I stood up for myself a lot, I felt like, and it wasn't that much of a stretch to play Nancy. Wes wrote the part so well that I didn't have to do a lot of research and preparation like I was being an astronaut or anything like that. And then for the seventh movie, I actually did prepare quite a lot because I wanted to create a character that was an interesting woman, and I didn't feel like if I just walked on set and acted like myself that would be very interesting. So I did kind of think about how she would do things and bring things to the character that weren't necessarily like me at all.
Okay. And now, on top of continuing acting, you're also doing stuff behind the scenes. I see you've got a documentary right here called I Am Nancy. And you've also worked on, you did special effects on Scream Queens, correct?
Well, my husband is a very famous makeup artist named David Anderson, and he, he's been working in the business for 30 years. And so now we have a company together. I'm kind of like his financial officer and his, business manager. And so we do a lot of movies, but I am not a makeup artist. I never do makeup. I don't know how to do it. It's a huge skill that I wouldn't even attempt to try to do. So he does all the artistic work, and I do all of the kind of managing of our business.
All the fun, crunching the numbers out.
Yeah, I'm really good at bookkeeping. Yeah, if anybody needs a bookkeeper, I'm right here.
And how was it putting together the I Am Nancy documentary?
Well, after going to these conventions it was about 25 years at this time, I was thinking to myself, I'd really like to do something while I'm at these conventions that was kind of a little more interesting for myself and really turn the camera onto the fans, because I had the camera on me for so long, and I thought, I have such incredible fans and their stories are incredibly unique. So how can I take advantage of this. And I decided to take a camera crew with me to 7 conventions, and we ended up making this documentary that, I'm extremely proud of. It's very rough. There's lots of mistakes in it. There's lots of crazy, we took a lot of it on iPhones, and we did it on my computer camera. I mean, any way we could get footage. So it's an interesting movie, and I love it. I'm very proud of it.
Now, if they're not going to conventions, where can they buy their own copy of I Am Nancy?
So there's 2 places. You can go to my store on Amazon, which is, you just look up I Am Nancy on Amazon.com, and it would come up. And that is a nice place to buy it. But if you want me to sign it, you have to go to my website, and that's iamnancy.net, and then you can place an order through PayPal, and then you can pay a little extra, and I put my signature on it. So a lot of people buy it that way if they want me to personalize it.
Okay, well, I do want to thank you again. Make sure all of you check out I Am Nancy and buy your personalized copy. And
Thank you.
And just once again, thank you again. It's been a pleasure.
Good luck with your podcast.
Thank
Take care.
you.
All right.